Good morning and thanks for joining us for KBOI 2 News Midday. I'm Rick Douglas. Now to your top 11 stories at 11. A Monday morning meltdown on Wall Street. The Dow Industrials fell more than 1,000 points in early trading. After the huge drop, the decline had been reduced to about 300 points. Reports of a slowing of the Chinese economy on Friday shook stock markets around the world, and a big sell-off of Chinese stocks today caused the worldwide shocks to continue. 4 people were taken into custody last night after a high-speed chase that spanned 3 counties and after police forcibly rolled their SUV on Highway 55 in Horseshoe Bend. Nampa Police Sergeant Joe Ramirez says 3 of the 4 are being charged in connection with the shooting Saturday of 26-year-old Kyle Jackson. 20-year-old Alberto Chavez, this man, has been charged as a gunman. Jackson was shot in the head and his condition this morning isn't known. 71 firefighters from Australia and New Zealand are in Boise this morning to be briefed before they head out to help fight fires in eastern Washington. They arrived last night. Some of the group are seen here in this exclusive video. They're members of the Queensland Fire and Rescue Team, shown fighting a wildfire in the Australian city of Rockhampton. The last time the U.S. called in outside reinforcements for fighting fires was back in 2008. One place where many of those Aussies will head is the Okanagan complex in north central Washington. 3 firefighters lost their lives and some residents lost their homes. But the winds did die down enough this weekend to allow fire teams to get a better handle on the flames. However, the incident commander warned Sunday that the break will be short-lived because winds are expected to pick back up. More fires continue to burn in Idaho than in any other state, and one that caused some major problems weeks ago, the soda fire, is still burning south of Marsing. Though it's 95% contained, there's an even bigger job ahead: rehabilitation. Since Thursday, the Burned Area Emergency Response, or BEAR team, has been surveying all of the BLM land left blackened by the fire, and they're focusing on the future.
Firefighters have a different emergency. They have the fire. They got to stop that fire. It's moving now. Post-fire recovery or post-fire response is more about the next big catastrophic event.
The team will finish up their field work today, and then they'll crunch the numbers and submit their findings to the BLM office in Washington in order to ask for recovery funding. The Boise Fire Department responded yesterday to the reported crash of a minivan on North 36th Street above Hillside Junior High School. When they arrived, firefighters discovered the van had traveled across Quail Hollow Golf Course and crashed into a creek bed. The female driver had to be extricated. She was sent to a hospital for treatment. That's the sound of the engines revving on a vintage B-17 bomber, nicknamed the Aluminum Overcast. The rare aircraft is owned and operated by the Experimental Aircraft Association out of Oshkosh, Wisconsin. It was in Caldwell this weekend as part of a national tour.
It was developed in 1935 and by Boeing, and they made 12,731 of these. They lost half of them during the war, but the aircraft is built very well. It's the first all-electric bomber.
The B-17 was a workhorse back in its day, despite its cramped quarters. The national tour helps the public, like those 2 ladies there, understand why the aluminum planes were so prized during the war. 4 men who took down a heavily armed man on a French passenger train were awarded France's highest honor this morning. The 4, 3 Americans and a Briton, were given the Legion of Honor by French President François Hollande. The Americans were on vacation when they found themselves suddenly confronted by what they called a do-or-die situation. This morning, archaeologists and historians are understandably upset after word from Syria that ISIS extremists have destroyed a temple in the ancient city of Palmyra. The temple dated back some 2,000 years to the Roman era. The destruction comes on the heels of the beheading of a local historian who refused to tell the militants where he and others had hidden valuable artifacts. Work will continue on the bridge over the North Fork of the Payette north of Cascade, and that means that today through Wednesday, traffic will be intermittently stopped in both directions for between 20 and 45 minutes at a time. The Idaho Transportation Department is replacing the bridge this year to meet traffic load and safety standards. Well, today is the first day of school for students in Boise, West Ada, Kuna, and Valley View, and would love to see your back-to-school photos. Be sure to include the number 2 in the photo. Also, include your child's name and where he or she goes to school. Send your photos to news@kbui2.com, and you might see them on our website in our back-to-school photo gallery.